Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to take a look at how we can use the Microsoft Graph API to access the Outlook APIs to send the emails to get the emails from the inbox. So here are the topics we are covering in this video. So the first one is how to get the mailbox setting of the logged in user, then how to get the emails from the inbox. Then the third and the most important part here, because this is the issue I faced in my earlier development when I was doing. So there are some cases like some user do not have the mailbox license assigned, and if you did not handle this case where don't have the mailbox, then it will eventually display will not display that component or face any error. So we will see how we can handle this scenario as well to see and to check whether the user has the mailbox assigned or not. And the last one is how we can send the emails using the Graph API. So for this, there are some permission required. So these three permissions are required in order to read and send. So these three permissions you need to configure in your package.solution. In earlier videos, I have already shown you how we can do that. So I'm not going to write from scratch. So I will just show you how it will done. So under package.solution JSON, under the web API permission request, you have to specify these permissions. And also remember, if you specify the permission after deployment, you have to approve the permission from the API panel. To access the API panel, you just need to go to SharePoint Admin Center, and here we have the API Access panel. So must remember, you must have the global admin permission for doing this. As this is my developer tenant, so I have the full control over it. But yes, if you are doing it for any client, if they did not give you access, so make sure to tell them that you have to access and approve these APIs. So currently I have deployed the package and approved all the APIs. So let's get back to the documentation directly, because written documentation is lots more flexible and a lot more understandable rather than directly copying the code from GPT. So I have already installed the PNP.js and PNP Graph APIs packages from the NPM. So first we are going to take a look at how we can get the mailbox setting of the user. So this is the how we can get the mailbox setting. So we just have to write one single line, the current user dot mailbox setting. So let's get back to the code. I have already initialized the setup and already created some states. So the state is to handle and store the response of all email, and there is one loading indicator. So initialize as first my email will be array will be blank, because whatever the email we are getting from the inbox are stored in the array of object format. But initially it was null, and loading will be true. Then I have initialized the function called get emails. So the first one we have to set up the context. So this is the really important step. And then I have added the line to get the mailbox setting, and I'm just console.log. And in the render section, there is just a heading and the loading indicator. So if I run this, if I refresh this, then in the console, I will see all the mailbox setting. So here, as you can see, let me zoom in a little bit. So this is my mailbox ID, and all the settings are available here. What is the language? What is the time zone of it? What is the time format? This mailbox setting is required to check if user have access to or user have license on the Outlook, right? I have another user called as user one. I did not assign any license. So if I show you in the admin center, here is the user one, and you can see this is unlicensed. So let's see what happen if we run this from this. So this is the user one. If I hit refresh, so it will give me an error. So as you can see here, the mailbox is not enabled for REST API, right? So the mailbox is either inactive, deleted, or hosted on premise, right? So currently this user do not have any mailbox. So as you can see, nothing is displayed here. So this is how you can get whether this user has email inbox assigned or not. So based on this condition, you choose to display the message, right? So let's get back to the code. Now the first important thing is to get the mailbox setting, that is already done. Second thing is getting email from the user's inbox. So for this, the function is really simple. We just have to go to documentation under messages. Here we have the function current user dot message. I will just copy it. Let me just create one new variable to store the result. So the const emails from inbox. Then current user of message. So make sure to use await here because these must be run in one by one, because first we are getting the mailbox setting and then we get the inbox, right? And I will use a console, or what I will do directly, I have initialized the state already. So I will just store that result in that state. So it will be this dot set state. These are my mails and whatever the response I get. And once I got the response, I don't want to show the loading. So loading will be false. Initially it is set to true, as you can see. And here I have added the HTML as well. So until this loading is true, the loading will show. After that, what I will do, I just want to showcase the information. But let's first understand whatever the response we are getting. So let's open the Graph Explorer. Here you can check the APIs directly. You have to sign in here because if this is your first time, then there will be a test account associated. But if you want to check some of the APIs like Outlook, which are more personalized and have the access, right? So for this, you need to sign in. So I have signed in. I have selected the API, like let's say get a message, or you can just directly write /me/messages. If I run this, let's understand this response. So you can ignore this O data, and here's the value. So as you can see, this is the array of object format. So let's see whatever value we are getting. So we are getting the dates, then what is the subject of it, then the body preview, the importance of, right? Is it read or not draft? So all these kind of things. So for this demo, we'll focus on the subject and let's say the web link as well. So let's say if you created a web part where you are displaying the user's email, right? So it is not about just display. You can add the web link as well. So if they click on it, they will directly navigate to that email. So this thing we are going to showcase. So let's copy subject and the web link. So first let me create an interface, a quick interface email. Then we have this subject, which is in string format. And then we have the web link, which is in a string format as well. So let me copy it, and let's say my mail, I will use I interface this instead of writing any. So it will give me auto suggestion while using those. So it says the my emails has not defined. Continues. And then let's get back here to display the data. So here we have the this.state dot my emails. It's an array, so we have to map it. Then we have the mail. Generally people use I or response kind of thing, but I will use mail, and this is the interface of it. After that, I want to return the result, so we'll use return. Then first thing I will write mail dot subject and mail dot web link. I'm just going to use the paragraph only, so display the text directly instead of having the anchor tag. And after that, put the HR, that is horizontal line. So we have to keep them separated. So let's run this code and we'll wait for it to run. Again, what we can do, we can initialize one another state to store whether the user has license assigned or not, right? So what we can do is mailbox assigned. It's a Boolean value. So initially we will set it to null, or let's say false. I don't think it will accept, right? And whenever we get the response, so mailback setting, right? So here what we can do after the mailbox setting we got, because if the user don't have this, it will show an error. That means the value is null or value is undefined, right? So what we can do, we will just get any of the data from it. So this is the mailbox setting, and let's say I will use the archive folder ID, or let's say there is something user purpose. Let's say I will use this one. It's a mailbox settings dot user purpose. If settings dot user purpose, then I will just use console.log. Else I will show an alert mailbox not assigned. So let's check if it's going to work or not. So first I will get the mailbox setting dot user purpose. So if some user have the mailbox, right, so they will directly get the user purpose, but if not, it will go to the else condition. So let's see if it shows any error or run successfully. So we are directly showing the emails as well. So it's completed. Let me go back to the user who has the mailbox. So as you can see, I got directly all the emails. So this is my subjects, and in that we have the web link. So if I choose to put the anchor tag, or if I can directly click on the subject, it will directly take me to that email only. So it will open that specific email instead of opening the Outlook. I will just go to the Outlook. So as you can see, this is the specific email only. So it did not open the complete Outlook application, correct? So this is how you can use the other values as well. Now let me go back to the user who don't have the mailbox license. So let me refresh. So it did not alert me. I think it gives me error. So we have to use the try and catch statement here. So instead of this, we can use the try and catch to get this data, right? And here it keeps loading because it did not pass to this state only, because it has no license and it did not get any email in the response, right? Then the second thing we have, second thing we have did get emails from the inbox and handle unlicensed scenario. So if your user don't have this, you can use some condition like this one to show the message like mailbox is not assigned. Then send email to using Graph API. Then the last one is how we can send an email. So for this we have a write permission. So as I have did, these two are for the reading, and mail.send it will require the write permission. So first I will show you in the documentation. Let me just search for it, send email, send message, I think. So this import we have already did. Then let me zoom in. Okay. First we have to draft a message. So let's understand what we are passing. So it is just in like we are storing any data in the database. We have to create interface, we have to specify column, and we have to specify its value. So this is the schema. We have the subject, we have the importance, body, and two recipients. So the same format we are getting, right? So this is two recipients. Actually this is get, but yeah, same kind of structure. We have to add in post request as well. And then we have to initialize the graph and just call this API. So what I will do, I will just use here only. Let's say send email. We'll first check it and then we'll go to the code. So this is send an email action. If you select any action, it will directly change everything. Another one thing you have to remember, if you are using it very first time, then you have to consent the permission from here as well. because this Graph API application is completely different from the one you are using in the code. So you have to consent the permission from here. So let's check if we have the request body. It already added the body, and I just need to modify this one. So let's say this is the subject. This is for testing for my, and the email address, I'm going to just use the temporary address. Let's say this email ID I will use. Content type will be text. I'm not using any HTML formatting, and the subject I will keep the same. So we got 202 response. Let's check this one. It will refresh in the 7 seconds. Let's wait for it. So as you can see, I got the email here from my email address to this one. So this is the disposable email address I am using. This is not any real email address. So for testing, I will recommend you to use this kind of sites, but do not send any sensitive information. So this is I did my testing, so it is working. Now it's time to implement this in a code. So let me just copy this one, import, go up. I already imported this. Okay, the mail is already imported, so we don't have to import it multiple times. Now let me create one function to send email. Send email, and this function will have the message. Just get rid of it. And this message, so what you can do, you can just take a text input or any field or people picker control to send an email to. But for now, I will just use these static emails. So after this is done, we are going to use the context first, then first initialize the context. You can use the another file to export it as a context, so you can use it globally, but for the demo purpose I will going to use in each and every function. So here we have the current user setup and this Graph API setup. After that, let me just copy this one. So I don't want to store the result anywhere. I just want to send an email, and send email. We have this function and draft message. Do not change this because this is what the function provides. So let me show you. If I dot, and we have this function send email. We did not write it. This is from the library itself. We have the draft message. It will give me an error like argument type is not subjected. Okay. So there will be a message here, but I've solved one issue. So let me show you. If I use the message type from the here, it will show me this error. I don't know why this error is happening. So for now, I will just use any, because as per the documentation, it should be the messages itself. So let me just copy it and let's see if it works. And here I will use the message. But still it gives me quick to fix. If I import it, yes, it shows me this error. Okay, we can leave it because it's not stopping us from sending an email. Let me save it. After that, I will use one button to send an email. So let's take one button, send email, and then here on click function, we have to call it this dot send email. but did not pass any parameter, what you can do, you can just, if you click on it, you can give a prompt to user where they can enter their email address to send. But for this case, I am just using the static value in the code itself. So let's wait for it to run. Let me go back. Let me refresh. So here I have clicked on send. So it's saying access denied. So let me check. Send email is forbidden. The permission I have gave here. So let me check if I approve it in the Graph API. Okay, it's mail.send. I think it's not there. I need to re-upload the package. So let me just build and re-upload this package. So bundle project and the package. I'm not using the ship here. I'm just using locally and the gulp serve. So let me create a package and then upload it. So I have created a new package and deployed here. So as you can see, this is saying we have to approve this permission. So mail.send is here. So let me click on deploy. Hit on refresh. Let's go to API access and I will check whether that API is under the approval or not. So here is we have the graph API. This is our solution name and this is mail.send API. Just click on it. You cannot multi-select. You have to select one by one. Click on approve. So this API is approved. So let's go back to our code and let's see if it's working. So there is a gulp sub running. So we should wait. This will take some time to manage the performance, not more than 5 or 10 minutes. So let's say. So let me just. So now let me refresh this. We have the debugger here. So let me turn it off. Let's go to console. Let's click on send email. Did not give me any error. Let's go back here and check all the emails. So let's wait for it to refresh. So till that time we can check. Oh, okay, PNBJS test message. Okay, not this one. Let me check in network tab as well. Okay, as you can see, the email has been sent without any issue. I check the headers. It says 202, but I think it is not reflecting here. So let's wait for a couple of seconds. Yeah, as you can see, this is test message. It says. So the content, this is test message and the subject is PNPJS test message. So this email got sent. So this is how you can use the send email. You can also delete an email. I'm not going to show that here. It will make this video longer, but this is a really simple steps. So for every email address, there is some ID associated. So it's a common thing. If you want to delete something from a database, you have to pass the unique ID. So let me just tell you that also. So the delete a message. So here you can found all the things. So here you just have to use this get by ID and you have to pass this message ID. So from where you can get that. So let me just get my all emails from here. So switch to get and here messages. Let me hit this. So you see this is the ID of it, ID of the message. So you just have to pass that ID here and then you can run the API to delete that message. I hope you understand how we can use the email APIs here to send and read the messages. And if you have any doubt at any point, you can just let me know in comments. And to make sure that I'm using the Node version 18.20.3, and this is the latest, I think, latest supported version I was using in all my development cycle. But yeah, if you face any issue, don't make sure to check the PNPTS documentation as well, because here they have multiple versions. So if you go here and always read the documentation first, here I will be getting started. So the minimum requirement is 18 plus version must be there. I have 18.20, so I don't have to do anything extra. But yes, if you are using earlier versions, so let's say if you are using SPFX version 1.18.0, then there are no additional step required. But if your version below this, then there are some steps like version 4 is not supported. If you are using this version, then you need to install some of the dependencies. So make sure to read the documentation because if you directly copy the error and go to ChatGPT, it will not provide you the accurate result sometime. But yeah, make sure to follow documentation because these are the most updated documentations. Or still, if you face any issue, you can always let me know in comments and I'll be happy to help. Thank you.